guys, what's going on? Welcome to another 3J Gaming video. Goodfella here. Today we're talking about one of my favorite series of all time. Now this is gonna be a little out there for some of you. I got introduced to this game on the PS2 with the second iteration, and it was for me just one of the most fun games I've played. And I have played every single iteration since, and that game is Dynasty Warriors. Today we are talking about Dynasty Warriors 9. What is new, what I am excited for, what we should all be excited for. Man, this game looks really good, really promising. A little scary because they changed up the formula quite a bit, but really looking forward to it, so let's get into it. First introduction to the Dynasty Warriors series was on PS2 with Dynasty Warriors 2, as I said. But I think Dynasty Warriors 3 was really the entry that brought the whole thing together, and that game was just extremely button mashing fun, and the characters were all so different and so unique. You played 4, you played 5. After I played 5, I actually went and got the books. If you haven't, they're called Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I'm sure if you're watching this video you know all about Dynasty Warriors, and if you're new to the Dynasty Warriors franchise, it's what started all the Mosu games. Really great franchise. Dynasty Warriors 9 looking like it's going to be one of the best, if not the best, in the franchise. So what did they change about Dynasty Warriors 9? Well, the biggest change is that it's open world. Now, I wasn't sure how to feel about the open world, especially since we've never had an open world Dynasty Warriors, and there's so many open world games out there. So after, I've watched as many videos as I can, and after watching all the videos, man, does it look gorgeous. And not only does it look gorgeous, they seem to have done a really good job with making it a truly open, immersive, expansive world. It's all of China, which is hard to kind of comprehend, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around that the open world is the entire continent of China. It's going to have a lot of the famous landmarks that we see in the games, or hear about in the games, or read in the books, such as the Yellow River, Mount Zhengdun. Amongst a ton of others. So I'm really excited to see how they do that in this open world. How large is the actual open world? How many of these historical sites that are we hear about in the games that are actually in the other games that are in the books themselves? How many are there? That's going to be something to look forward to just in and of itself. Beyond that, the various regions of the game are extremely different. You can go from jungles to deserts to snow-capped mountains. I mean, really, that's what China is, and that the fact that they've incorporated all of that into the game as well gives a great diversity into the different types of battlefields you're probably going to be seeing. So that's something just a little extra to look forward to. I really think that the open world was scary, and now that I've seen more of it, that they're really encompassing a whole lot into this open world. I didn't want it to be half done. I didn't want it to be just something they threw together. And I think the reason it's been such a long time between Dynasty Warriors 8 and Dynasty Warriors 9 is because this is what they wanted to do, and we're going to see just an amazing product because of that. So we have this big open world with all these regions to explore, these historical sites to see, and we're also going to get these massive cities as well. There's 10 of these big cities in the game, and they're going to be cities we've heard about, again, from other various games that are in the books. And in these cities, you're going to be able to visit shops. I'm assuming this is where the stables are going to be. There's probably going to be stables, somewhere else, probably countryside. But, exploring these big cities, seeing what you're going to be able to do inside of them, that's going to be really cool. I do know that the blacksmiths are going to be here, so this is going to be a place where you're going to be able to buy, you're going to be able to craft weapons. So I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more to do than just buy and craft weapons in these massive cities. So that's something I want to see more of. I haven't heard too much beyond that about the city, so it's just something to look forward to. So in addition to these big cities that we're going to be visiting, there's also these smaller villages scattered sparsely throughout this region, the region of China. Now, I'm not quite sure what is in these little towns, these little small villages. If it's just maybe a blacksmith or just a stable, or maybe there's no shops at all. I'm not sure what these small towns are going to encompass. If it's just part of the story, but I do kind of want to explore them and see what they have to offer, and that's just another small aspect, to this huge open world that we're going to be experiencing. One of the things I'm really impressed about in this game with the open world is the dynamic time and weather changes. It's not just day and night. It's legitimately a 24-hour cycle. Now, it's not 24 hours. It's on a shorter time cycle, but you get, sunrises and sunsets and midday and midnight and everything in between. And that's something extremely unique that not a lot of games in general have. I can only think of maybe, 7 or 8 off the top of my head. So that's really cool. And the other cool thing about it is when you get into your missions or side missions or whatever you're doing, the time of the day can actually affect the mission itself. So that's really unique and new to the franchise. Gonna try out, doing a mission during the day versus doing a mission at night and seeing, how they differ. So that is something that I wasn't expecting. They added in, and I'm really excited about now. So obviously in an open world, you kind of want to know how you're going to be traversing. Well, the main way of traversing in the game is going to be horses. That's how you got around the battles in every other Dynasty Warriors. So that's the way you're going to be traversing the terrain in Dynasty Warriors 9. Now, you can swim. That's cool because you can be on water. Like, as I said, the Yellow River's in it, so you could swim across the river if you'd like. But there is also fast travel in the game, something that if you're doing an open world, you're going to want to have, especially if the open world is going to be as big as supposedly Dynasty Warriors 9 is going to be. So in the game, you have missions that I believe you're going to be able to get from the big cities. You have side quests that you're going to be able to get from a bunch of various places, as well as battles that are always going on that you just have to go to. That's something they haven't really talked a lot about. When you open up your map, there's always battles going on. You just have to get to them, and then you can take part in them. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. They have not talked about it all that much, but it is something that is extremely unique and something that I really want to know more about. Is there just one battle going on, or are there multiple battles at a time that you could pick and choose? So that's something that I really want to know more about. The game is still following the Dynasty Warriors story, the Three Kingdoms era of China, 200 AD. It's not like they're venturing into different and uncharted territories. It's how did these battles start? Knowing that we can fast travel, will we be able to get to them quicker? Will we just jump in and start fighting? What if you're a character who's not actually part of the battle? That's a lot of the questions that have not been answered yet. So while there's a little bit of the unknown, there's still a lot of questions I wish we had more answers to. Unfortunately, gonna have to wait until the game comes out, unless they do. I'll release more info on that. So one of the biggest focuses on the Dynasty Warriors games always has been and always should be the characters in the game. Now you have this big open world that we're going to get to explore, and that's going to almost a character in and of itself. But the characters are really what draws you to the game. These larger than life iconic heroes who lived 1800 years ago that you read about in books, and you want to play as them, you want to learn their moves, you want to get better weapons. Dynasty Warriors has always been known for having these great characters. And this is the largest roster of any Dynasty Warriors. 90 characters. That is absolutely incredible. Obviously, Three Kingdoms era China, so you're going to have Wu, Shu, Wei, and Jin, which spawned off of Wei after, a little bit after the Three Kingdoms area. And then the always fun other characters, such as the monster Lu Bu and, many others. 90 characters, that's absolutely incredible. The one character that I've really wanted in a Dynasty Warriors since probably it was after I started reading the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novels, and it was right around the time Dynasty Warriors 5 came out with Shang Pu, and he is now in the game fighting for Wu. And no, I do not have a favorite side. I like all of the factions. I will not pick one over the other. There are a lot of characters that I like that are in all the factions. So, very hard to pick a faction I like, but I do think that there are some characters that are better than others. We will be doing videos on the top characters in Dynasty Warriors, best weapons in Dynasty Warriors, so make sure you guys come back and stay tuned because there'll be a lot more Dynasty Warriors coming to 3J Gaming once the game is released. So along with these 90 characters, another one of the staples of the Dynasty Warriors series is the weapons. Each character has his own unique weapon. You get multiple weapons, they look different, they get better stats, and they're just extremely ridiculously cool. From the first weapon you get, which is usually a standard weapon, maybe a steel sword, and then by the time you get the third or fourth weapon, it's this badass. In the case of, let's say, Jahodun, the Kirin blade looks absolutely amazing. It's a ridiculously cool scimitar. If you have played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If this is your first foray into Dynasty Warriors, it's a really badass looking weapon, and he's a character I definitely would suggest starting out with. So this is one of the things that worries me a little bit in Dynasty Warriors 9. Now, I'm still optimistic, but it's one of the things that worries me, and that's the fact that they cloned a lot of characters. A lot of characters lost their iconic weapons in favor of having a weapon that is already being used by another character. Now, a lot of these weapons have 2, 3, and in a lot of cases 3, and some even 4 characters that are using the same weapon. Now, the thing that makes me optimistic about this is even though they're using the same weapon, they still have a unique look. Now, I believe the movesets are probably going to be cloned as well. I don't know for sure, but I'm about 90% sure that the movesets are going to be cloned for characters that use the same weapon. But the weapons do have 3 tiers. They're changing it up a little bit from previous installments. The 3 tiers are common, rare, and epic. So just kind of like a loot-based game. You can obtain them from blacksmiths from the big cities. Maybe if there's blacksmiths in small villages, as I stated previously. You can also obtain them from scrolls and from materials that you can use to craft them. So there's various ways to get the new weapons in the game. I feel like previous Dynasty Warriors, if you ever played Dynasty Warriors 8, there was like 6, 7 or 7 weapons for a few characters, and each one kept looking more and more ridiculously cool. So I think the way they're going to work it in Dynasty Warriors 9 is your first weapon is going to be just kind of a normal blade. Your rare is going to be probably what your third would have been in Dynasty Warriors 8, and then your epic is going to be either your fourth or your fifth. So even though there's only going to be 3, they're going to keep stepping it up, for all 3 tiers. So that still makes me optimistic. A lot of characters lost their unique weapons, and that's kind of concerning. But there's a lot of weapons that I really like that now multiple characters have. So I have multiple unique versions, multiple epic versions now of that said weapon. So that's pretty cool. Gotta stay optimistic about that because I'm really not a fan that they cloned a lot of characters. But I think doing the open world, putting everything into this game that they did, I can understand it. I don't have to like it, but I can understand it. And I can still be optimistic for it. And I think we all should be. The final thing I want to talk about, guys, is that every Dynasty Warriors has had an Extreme Legends or an Empires or both, and those are just kind of add-ons. So the main game, maybe a new challenge mode, something like that, new weapons. So Dynasty Warriors 9, I know, is going to have a season pass. I know it's going to have a season pass in Asia. I'm pretty sure that season pass will make its way to the US, and that's something I'm pretty excited about as well, because I don't want to have to buy the game again in an Extreme Legends or an Empires form. I would much rather them just have the base game, add a season pass, maybe even 2 season passes if they want to do an Extreme Legends and an Empires. Just let us download that extra content. whatever modes that they are, costumes, weapons, stuff like that. Just give us the DLC for it. I don't want to have to buy a whole new disc. So that's something that they haven't had in the Dynasty Warriors before that I would like to see them do. It seems like they are probably going to go in that direction. So keep an eye out for that. Alright, guys. Well, there it is. One of my favorite series, Dynasty Warriors. Alright, guys. Dynasty Warriors 9 coming out February 13th, 2018. Can't wait for it. If you're a fan of the Warriors games, you're definitely a fan of Dynasty Warriors because that's really what kicked it off. Now you have Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, One Piece Warriors, Hyrule Warriors for Nintendo, Fire Emblem Warriors for Nintendo, Attack on Titan, all these Mosu games developed by Tecmo Koei. It all started from Dynasty Warriors. So really one of my favorite series of all time. Cannot wait for it. Guys, if you liked the video, please give us the thumbs up. Like the video, really helps us out. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos on Dynasty Warriors 9, maybe other games you might like as well. Follow me on Twitter at Goodfella_Joey. Until next time, this is for you, bro.